Dun, 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 pretend there's music here and someone singing who sounds good. Hey, welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Tuesday. I am one of your hosts, Matt Ray. I'm joined by my faithful companion, Neil Tardy.
That's right.
I was really questioning the faithful companion part. Like, I just feel like that's an interesting title that I just threw out there. And it comes with all kinds of connotation.
It does, but I like it, and we're gonna roll with it.
So I like it. I'm not against any of those things. This is our show where we attempt to kind of do a quick recap of tech-ish, right? Based news from the current or previous week, and kind of sum it up in little bite sizes and feed you like a mom bird. Get that out of your head. So I guess with that, let's come straight to it while Neil is trying to recover, thinking of himself as feeding you.
Oh, goodness gracious. So the first thing we have today is Zoom actually agreeing to implement more security features. So the U.S. Federal Trade Commission basically came at them and were like, "Hey, you're not doing what you say you're doing," which was 100% true. So Zoom, while it has not admitted guilt, is basically admitting guilt by taking a settlement here and saying that. So, so really what the FTC is saying is that the company deceived users by claiming to have end-to-end 256-bit encryption, which it was not doing. It also allegedly had some recorded meetings stored unencrypted on its server for up to 60 days. Which is really, really not good. So I think, all of this was, we kind of saw coming from Zoom when it went from 10 million users in December of last year to 300 million in April. Talk about a crazy spike in users. But yeah, this just doesn't look great. But, it seems like they're trying to fix it. And we'll see if they can get it done. They have been acquiring other companies to help them shore up some of their security things. So I think that shortly they will have this stuff figured out. But I will say that this is not a super great look for Zoom. What do you think, Matt?
So you're right. They've been adding things, which is, honestly, part of how you know that something is missing is when they're like, "Oh, hey, we really have it now." I think it's interesting, right? Like I'm a little torn on this because it's like, I don't know. I'm as a consumer, like you're kind of caught in the middle. Like Zoom is now doing the right things, I think, or they're well down the path to doing that. So I hate to see something be an impediment for them, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. I think there was definitely some misleading statements. I think their kind of marketing and stuff really did make you feel like everything was great until it wasn't, honestly, right? So I don't know. I feel kind of caught in the middle of this.
Yeah, I do too, because I do feel like Zoom has been trying to continue to improve its security. When you see a massive spike in user base like that, like there are going to be problems that you didn't anticipate. And so part of me feels for them, part of me doesn't, because they're making hand over fist money right now. Part of me is like, when you already have 10 million users, I feel like you would have a lot of that stuff kind of figured out. And so, yeah, I don't know that because I don't work for a company that has that kind of user base, but it does feel a little naive of them to be like, hey, like our security is fine, when it did have as many holes as it does. But I do like how they have noticed that and are continuing to add those things. So
Yeah.
It's kind
So
of
at the
like
end of the day,
in the past, but good on you for what you're doing now.
so, yeah. So at the end of the day, is like if they hadn't purported to have something that they didn't, I don't know that they would be in the hot water that they are right now.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So,
Okay. Yeah,
but yeah,
makes sense.
that's Zoom, and hopefully they'll continue to keep adding stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, zooming to everyone today was Apple's One More Thing. And in their One More Thing event, we had the introduction of the brand new MacBooks. This whole line really based on their brand new chipset, right? We've been talking actually a lot about this. Them switching off of Intel-based x86 and x64 kind of processors to ARM-based, and which is more similar to the reduced instruction set kind of process, almost not quite RISC processors, but that they use in their iPads and their iPhones and really everything else. And so there's been a lot of speculation. Is the iPhone becoming more like the MacBook, or is the MacBook becoming more like the iPhone? The answer is yes to all of it. But at the end of the day, it looks like they're really just trying to protect they're kind of protecting their place, right? And they don't want to be held kind of hostage, right, by a core component. Whether or not like they should feel that way and whether or not they play very well, I'm just going to sideline that because I think that there's a lot, and once you start kind of pulling on those strings, it just gets way too messy. But what's important is that they've made good on their promises, and here we are seeing the kind of first line of these ARM-based processors, a return, if you will, to their own custom kind of hardware. Again, I can't help but think that this is kind of like the final nail for kind of right to repair stuff. Like, I mean,
oh, for sure.
I mean, you were already not going to swap out processors and things like that, but like, we've seen a not so slow march into not even be able to get to memory or even replace like batteries and things like that. So I think this thing might as well be a completely sealed beast at this point. So yeah, I mean, you and I are both Mac users. I don't know, what's your take on this?
So the headline here is the fanless MacBook Air, and my God, is that thing going to be hot? Is my initial thought on that. Like, we both use MacBook Pros, and those things get ungodly hot, particularly when you do anything substantial on them.
Even with a fan.
Yeah, even with a fan, and those have fans, right? So like the MacBooks that we're talking about have fans, and they get incredibly hot to the point where they can like burn you. So yeah, I have a little bit of a concern over that. Now, I'm sure that Apple's done their homework and they know that that's not going to happen. But yeah, I think the new chipset's cool. It's something that we knew was coming for sure with this generation. I think it was just kind of which machines were they going to plop it into, and it turns out a lot. Their high-end stuff is still going to use Intel, but that's going to slowly be phased out. You can already see the writing on the wall there. So, but yeah, they're claiming that this is going to help them a lot. You all right over there, bud?
Sorry, I was looking for writing on the walls.
Oh yeah. You already have your Christmas stuff up, so.
Oh, it's covered.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're claiming that their battery life is going to go like significantly up, as well as performance and graphics, particularly in the MacBook Air. So it'll be really interesting to see if once people get their hands on them, how this thing performs out in the wild. But yeah, I mean, it coming in at $99 or $999, excuse me. So right around $1,000. That's a pretty sweet price point for people that aren't looking for like a super beefy computer, but still something that's like nice and polished. Like, it's not bad.
Yeah, I agree. It actually sounds pretty decent.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see as they move some of their other models into this new chipset, how they continue to perform. If you start seeing a huge drop in their performance, I'm curious if that'll happen, particularly like with the high end stuff, how their chipset can handle that, which is more than likely why they haven't dropped everything with this release. They're just probably still trying to work out some things, would be my guess. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty cool. Unfortunately, like you said, it is probably going to lead to even less right to repair on your Apple products, which is something that Matt and I both passionately believe in. So it really kind of sucks for us. But yeah, so I think it's cool, and I think we'll just kind of have to see how this plays out and see if any other manufacturers start moving towards something similar as well.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm anxious to see kind of how it all plays out. But I guess we'll actually probably see more about this going into the next year. And to your point, we'll see how kind of their beefier product lines are affected by this as they transition.
Yeah. So the last thing we want to talk about is we've been talking, or we have talked about in the past on the show about Amazon's new product to compete with Google Stadia called Amazon Luna. And so if you're not up to date on what this actually is, it's a cloud gaming service. So basically you have you pay for the service and you can play any games that Luna has licensed on it. Which is pretty sweet deal if you don't want to own a whole bunch of CDs or a console in and of itself. So Amazon will handle that all for you via their Luna platform. Well, Matt got his hands on one of these things, and I wanted to ask him how it's been going and just his general impression on that, and kind of give you guys some feedback, because it sounded like some of you guys were interested in it as well. So I'll shoot it over to him.
Yeah, man. So I took the plunge and went ahead and bought their controller. And so here, actually, I'll let me kind of back out of here and kind of see. So surprise, right? It looks very much like every other controller, right? So it's definitely more Xboxy in nature. You can see there's actually kind of a charge port there. There's a built-in headphone jack here at the bottom, but this thing is standalone. There's no console, right? I think that's really cool because the way this is set up, like you stream your games through either desktop apps, right? So they have kind of like what we're looking at now is running on this Windows machine. So which is really just an encapsulation of a browser, right? So you're really looking at the equivalent of what you would find on Chrome, Safari, or what have you, which is cool because the last time I played was on an iPad Pro. The Pro part doesn't matter at all, although it was like a 12-inch screen. So having a bigger screen I thought would be kind of nice. And it's just connected to Wi-Fi. And the way you kind of set up your controller is by pairing it with an app that goes onto your cell phone or some other kind of device. And it's really only to handle the internet connectivity, kind of like you would an Amazon Alexa device, right? So you're serving as a bridge until the device can connect on its own through your Wi-Fi to get out through the internet. So the process is really easy. It registers with your account. Currently, this is in like a beta offering. And so they have a reduced kind of price, and along with that, a reduced library. So you can take a quick look here. This is just kind of a splash screen, but here's what I think is really cool is as you look through, I was clearly playing this Wise RPG, which is apparently like the 8th version of that, but you get a sense of kind of what this library looks like, and it's not huge, right? So I'll just do kind of a scroll there. That's pretty much everything that's in there right now. But what I do think is kind of cool, you have things like Assassin's Creed Origins. Like that's pretty neat. You have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Valhalla, which I've not played. And then let's go to the full library here. If you're kind of a classic gamer, and I think by being 40 something, Watch it, Neil. I'm automatically a little bit of a classic gamer, right? So things like Contra, may be familiar with from the Nintendo and Super Nintendo and so forth. So the Contra Anniversary Collection is literally all of those games. So you can kind of see the whole list here. Castlevania, if you're into vampire hunting, that was another classic. So there's some great pieces in here that you will recognize, even if you don't recognize all of these. But some of the big hits, like Brothers, right? Like, so this blew up. I remember when it came out. And GameSpot was talking about this quite a bit. Let's look through here. That River City Girls, which I was like, I don't remember that. Well, there was like a River City Renegades or something like that. It was like an arcade game. This is like the follow-on, and I think it's kind of cool. They've gone with female protagonists. Sonic Mania. So again, like, I mean, who hasn't heard of Sonic? And if you're raising your hand right now and saying you haven't, like, call me. Like, we need to get you out of the house a little bit. But yeah, just a lot of really, really cool stuff. So you have really a nice mix, I think, of games right now. Even with this limited library that you can take a look at. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit play now, so you can kind of see what this looks like. And again, what's cool is because of this controller, I can actually pick this up and jump from here to iPad to whatever. And just want to do a quick look. Let's see. Are we able to pick this up? No, we're not picking this up, are we? Because we're in full screen. Let me see if I can get this to pick up. So I definitely think it's worthwhile to see. I may just have to, let's see. Let's try to reshare this and see. Neil, can you see that? There we go. Maybe.
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, cool. And so, I need to not power off the system, but you can kind of see now, if you're thinking to yourself, whoa, these graphics look really grainy. Like, what's going on here, Matt? Like, I thought you were promising me this like super cool new thing. Remember, these are old games, right? So you're going to have some of this. But as I click the button, what's amazing, well, that's really funny. That looks like when you didn't put the Nintendo cartridge in quite right and all hell broke loose. But yeah, you kind of see. So as I push the button, so I'm going to hold this up and button. So like, yeah, you get a sense like it goes, right? Like it's actually moves very, very, very quick. So one of the things that we had talked about, I think early on, was like the lag, right? That was one of the things I think you actually brought that up. Mm-hmm. And I got to say, like, I've been pretty impressed with it. Not seeing, near the lag or anything, particularly again, when you're using a desktop. But what's really cool about this then, Neil, is that, again, you could play on like a Fire TV. You could play on, can you hear that the sound is like going bananas over here now. And I'm like regretting life. I'm like, man, I really wish I had just played this game. But you can literally pull this up on a browser on any device. Like, so there's a lowest common denominator piece involved there. I don't know. Do I think that I want to play a lot of first-person shooters on this thing? Probably not. Particularly during peak times, you're probably going to get your ass handed to you. But do I think things like RPGs, action and adventure games, and even maybe some of these that are kind of shoot 'em ups or whatnot, it's reactive enough where you don't feel like you're being left behind. And I think that is pretty damn cool. And the fact that I will not have to update my hardware ever, I'm really at the mercy of just kind of like the streaming capabilities of where I'm at. Oh man, that's so cool. So yeah, I don't know. Now that you've kind of seen a little bit of it, is this something do you think that you might get into?
It's definitely more interesting now to me. I think that I'll need to see the library expand some. and kind of see what deals they make with certain companies on that to have on their platform. But yeah, I mean, if they get to a critical point where it's like, hey, we have all of these things, like, what's the point in having a console when you can play them all on ours? Like, yeah, I mean, I could totally see myself making the plunge here. I'm not doing anything crazy trying to be a pro gamer or anything like that. Like, so
Right.
I'm just in it to have some fun and have some laughs with some friends. So yeah, I mean, if we could all do that via this, I mean, why not? So yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely more intriguing now. We'll have to see how they continue to expand the library to really hook me. But yeah, just hearing you say like, yeah, the input lag's not bad, and like the experience has been generally really good. Like, it sounds great to me. So
no doubt. So yeah, we don't get paid anything for these. This is just an honest kind of review from some actual hands-on kind of play. So take it for what it is. But yeah, if you were kind of on the fence, if you've thought about maybe jumping on the Luna or the Google Stadia, or really, does NVIDIA even still have a platform? I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't think they do.
I think they pulled that, but yeah, I mean, if you were thinking about how good can this streaming thing be, here's some evidence maybe, and maybe it's worth trying out. Particularly because right now it's like $5.99 a month or something like that. And you don't have to buy the controller, to be super clear. Like, you can use any other controller. I just like this because if I choose to walk away from this computer and go play on an iPad or on Fire TV, it just keeps going, right? Like so it's very portable. Plus, I wanted to see kind of what their key, I guess, hardware target really looked like. And I gotta say, it's really good. Not showing you this right now, but as actually you leave a game, they always show this screen that says "Help us improve Luna," and they actually ask you to rate your gameplay session also. So again, remember that this is in beta, and if you do report things, they actually will dig in a little further and ask you some more qualifying questions. But for this one in particular, I'm gonna have to say it was excellent and no issues.
Well, there you go. So thanks for joining us on this edition of Tech Talk Tuesday. If you want to read up on anything that we talked about today, you can find all that in the description below. We'll also include a link to the Luna website if you want to check that out as well. And yeah, if you have been checking out Luna and you want to let us know how it's been going, go ahead and let us know. We'd love to hear, and we love collaborating with people and seeing what other people think about the things that they're playing with in their own time. So yeah, and if you have any other questions that you want Matt and I to answer on stream, you can go ahead and send us a direct message. Our Twitter handles are below. And yeah, so go ahead and do that, please. We'd love to answer any questions that you guys have tech related. And we will do the best that we can. But with that, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah, I think we should hop on and play, buddy.
Oh, you mean no outro?